Without further ado, I want to introduce you to our next speaker. She is the founder of Boston Power, as well as a PhD inorganic chemist. She's going to talk us through some of the challenges that we face today, and they're pretty big and pretty scary. But she's also going to tell us why entrepreneurs are positioned to be part of the solution. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Christina Lampe-Önnerud.
We live indeed in times that pose great difficulty. Our Earth is facing huge problems in water and energy. And we are facing recession. Big problems that really need big solutions. And big thinkers that are ready to take on real problems. I come from the background of technology and the level of truth in data. I cringe when I see hyped marketing presentations of green products and technologies. I feel ill when I hear investors talk about short-term gains, when I know that the problems we want to solve are long-term. My choice was to get involved. Having the guts with my friends and people I admire that come from a level of conviction. We're not protesting global warming. We're here to help fix it. So I'd like to share a small part of my life that hopefully can show you that we can make a difference. I was born here. I grew up in Dalarna, the singing and dancing people. Had a chance to go to Uppsala University, do a postdoc at MIT. Fell in love with the entrepreneurial spirit of that city, where data and opportunity gets married every day, in every cafe, every bar, and every restaurant, on every campus. And where capital is available for big ideas. I spent almost 15 years in the energy industry. I was a technology partner and an innovator at Arthur D. Little in Boston. Our clients were global Fortune 100 companies that came to us with very large problems. How should we think about sustainability? The G7 governments at the time. What should we think about when it comes to commodities, and how should we refine our products to fit into the new world? What should we do with the battery industry that is now going to be put under enormous stress for futures where everything is mobile? And we enter into a new economy focused on sustainability. What companies should I buy and how should I put together a portfolio? It was really rather exciting environment. And yet, in 2004, I was a mother of 2 children, a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I had personally concluded 100 safety investigations of lithium-ion batteries as an independent expert. And I want to share some color of this. Number 99 was a 10-year-old boy who had his cell phone in his pocket that exploded without warning. And out comes from his thigh an orange-sized flesh wound. Number 100, a lady checking email in bed. Again, no warning, no electronic failure. And all of a sudden, through the keyboard, at the force, close to a hand grenade, she has metal shatter in her upper body. 100 times had I been retained as an expert. And I looked myself in the mirror and said, well, now who am I? I love the private jets doing cool M&A transactions. I adore being a silent advisor to powerful governments on sustainability. But now I really have to take this data into my heart. And I started a company. The company was based on 4 tenets: safety, no surprise, we would make a battery that wouldn't explode and that actually would meet its specifications. You know the story on specifications. You buy a laptop, works for 4 hours, 2 months later it works for 2 hours, and 6 months later it's barely 20 minutes if you indeed work wirelessly, which the antennas have been available for some time. That's the experience. So we created a battery that basically would last the life of the device. A laptop, 4 hours for 3 years. The longest lasting battery was our second tenant. Our third tenant was fast charge, recognizing the new paradigm of mobility. A laptop example again, you could charge this battery in 10 minutes to get 40% capacity, or 30 to get 80% capacity, compared to the paradigm at the time, which was 2 to 3 hours for the same time. Highest energy density. The question in the market was not really, do batteries serve an important role in future societies? It was more, what is that storage function? And our innovation then brought together long-lasting, fast-charging, safe and reliable, together with true green. I'm a chemist by training. No toxic materials, no PVCs that destroy our air, and long-lasting products, so you make it once, not 5 or 6 times for the lifetime of the device. It takes the same amount of cost to make a high-quality battery as it does a low-quality battery, and we implemented that. So our story is one of some simple guiding principles: long-lasting, fast-charging, safe, and green. Today, the corporation has roughly 500 people involved, and we're hiring another 600 to 800. We have operations in Boston, in Stockholm, in Taiwan, in Shenzhen, in Chongqing, Shanghai, and Beijing. The next chapter of this company is going to be largely in China, where we're scaling a very large factory in Shanghai, opening up a customer technology center in Beijing, servicing the electric car market. This idea of having a battery that basically will fulfill these 4 tenets, packaged in a small building block, like a Lego piece, size of a matchbox, which you literally could stack together. 3 for a laptop, 14 for a power-assisted bike, 400 for a moped, 800 for a pretty hot motorbike, 2,000 for a real car. A car that fits all your luggage, that accelerates 0 to 100 in less than 10 seconds, a car that goes 200 kilometers on one charge, that can be charged in 3 hours. My ladies and gentlemen, this is a car for real girls. And the same Lego piece can also go into the grid market, or perhaps even more provocatively, into distributed energy storage, where you can take a number of Lego pieces. And I'm so incredibly proud that this battery has enabled innovators in India to combine with solar power, solar panels that have now come down in price, thanks to a lot of the innovation from India and China that have driven price and costs out of manufacturing. Reliability is up. This is a battery that you can put in your pocket, climb up this telecom tower, and exchange when you need to. This was the most price competitive, because it lasts for 10 years. The opportunity to be a building block in this complex and evolving society of a global community, the opportunity to take a chance to really try to make a difference and to embrace all the energy and all the people that come along to participate for parts of the journey, or some for the whole journey, is a remarkable experience. And as I have now just recently retired out of this company, and I continue to serve on the board, but will not be the leader in China, since I am really not from that culture, and I think we should get somebody who lives and breathes the culture, the language, and understands that society. I now have the opportunity again to think about what's next. And I believe it's really very important for all of us in the entrepreneurial spirit to share our successes and our failures, to invite for collaboration, and to participate in some of the biggest problems. I was retained by Club de Madrid and the COP15, Copenhagen Climate Change Negotiations, as an expert panel endorsed by the United Nations. It was a 2-year project, and I felt as a human being, as a citizen of the earth, if you wish, that I should participate because I know something about climate change and energy. We had some plans and we had some ideas, and we proposed that to the major governments of the world, and we got nods along the 2 years leading up to the final negotiations. But as you know, as our worldly leaders entered the stage, there was no commitment. In fact, we created some basis for collaboration and understanding which was not taken. I think that's like life, actually. An opportunity, a missed opportunity. But there's also some positive that came out. We all know how urgent it is and how important it is, and perhaps we as citizens got more information of complexity. Therein lies the opportunity. And I am now convinced that we need to continue to participate in the societies where we live on the big questions. And I maintain it is largely tied to water and energy, which are really quite closely coupled to economic growth, human rights, and peace. We must participate. We must try to influence our policymakers and politicians, but we must take the opportunity to create environments where the innovators can basically exercise the innovation power. I also believe that entrepreneurs are a rather different and sometimes even remarkable breed. I mean, where else can you think big amongst friends and people say, that's a good idea, maybe I can contribute here or here, and maybe I should fund you. To have an ongoing dialogue with investors, with creators, with an element of truth, I believe we will solve these enormous problems, and I feel incredibly inspired for the future. I think we will see very large distributed energy storage systems that are going to come into the Western markets and really challenge the way we look at energy consumption and energy use. I believe that the mobility revolution, being on all the time, indeed, really promotes collaboration. And I also believe that there is a new generation of leaders. Things people rarely discuss is that very few company starters, the entrepreneurs, are really motivated by money. We're normally motivated by vision. These are doers, people who want to make a difference and can make a difference by being in the right communities. So for all of you who are here this morning, it is wonderful to be here and share in the spirit of let's make it happen. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Christina.